Right now at noon, a new Missouri law could protect your digital life in the afterlife.
Heat advisories remain through the evening and thunderstorm chances to come later on this afternoon.
Plus, President Trump continues to try to divert attention from the controversy surrounding the Jeffrey Epstein files.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
Well, this is KOAM News at noon. I'm Elise Snowy. Missourians will soon have a new digital option for estate planning. Governor Mike Kehoe has signed legislation that allows electronic wills to be completely valid and treated like full-fledged wills in the Show Me state. The wills can be signed and witnessed online, and while there might be some financial benefits, a lawyer from Modern Law in Joplin is not entirely in favor of the new law.
Overall, that the law could be bad for law firms in this area, because I think what you'll see is there will be a large influx of online-only law firms that will specifically offer this service. But the flip side of that is I think you'll start to see prices come down on this type of service. I think it'll be more affordable for rural Missourians.
The new law is set to go into effect August 28th. And it's another hot and humid day out there. Let's check in with meteorologist Lindsay Gaffney for.
Well, we do still have heat advisories in effect until later on this evening. They finally expire by tonight, but they're for all of our counties out in Missouri, Oklahoma, and Arkansas, and a few counties out there in Kansas, right along our Kansas and Missouri border. Now, temperatures today are going to be reaching the mid-90s, about 95, 96 degrees, mostly sunny throughout the day, but we do have high heat index values that are going to be moving in as these temperatures rise. So it's going to feel like 101 out in Joplin, 102 Baxter Springs, Chanute, Iola, 103 in Fredonia, Independence, Veneta, Miami. So it's going to feel pretty hot out there, but we do have shower chances moving in later on this evening, and those are going to bring a little bit of a cooler air mass to cool us down for Friday, dropping our heat index later on for the afternoon. Now, we saw a few shower chances earlier in the afternoon, but all of that does start to push out of the area as we get into this evening around 8:30, 9 p.m. A few more shower chances start to dip further down into southeastern Kansas, but I'll have those details coming up.
All right, Lindsay, thanks. Well, there's still plenty of spots open at the KOAM sponsored Boots, Badges, and Bandages blood drive with Joplin first responders happening tomorrow. It's your chance to help support those in need during a critical time of the year. On average, the Community Blood Center of the Ozarks needs 200 pints of blood every day, and they see an increase in need grows during the summer months. The high school and college blood drives account for nearly 50% of the blood center supply. So during this critical time in the summer, donations dip. Blood center staff say events like Boots, Badges, and Bandages help bridge the gap.
It draws the need to what we need in the blood industry, because we need blood coming in at all times. People are traveling and on vacations, so we need that blood coming in, but it also spotlights the amazing work that our first responders do each and every day. So it's a wonderful thing for both parties.
Every donor receives a first responders t-shirt, a Super Splash Day passport worth $45, and enters to win a $10,000 dream vacation. You can learn how to donate on our website, KOAMnewsnow.com. What began as a traffic stop turns into a police standoff that ties up traffic on Joplin's busiest street. According to Joplin police, a patrol officer recognized this man, Mark Treese of Carthage, in the Lowe's parking lot yesterday. He had active warrants from Carthage. Now, the officer tried to stop Treese, but he left the lot in his vehicle. He ended up parking in the lot of the Pinnacle Bank across Range Line. Police say Treese initially refused to get out of the truck. That's when officers saw a second person inside the vehicle. That man also refused to cooperate. Treese got out of the truck after more officers arrived, and officers learned the other man had a gun, prompting officers to call in JPD's SWAT team. The passenger eventually got out the truck and was taken into custody. He's arrested for resisting arrest and not cooperating with officers on the scene for information. Authorities file formal charges against the suspect in a DUI crash that injured a PSU student. The suspect is 39-year-old Jared Cleary of Fort Scott, Kansas. He's now charged with aggravated battery while driving under the influence. Authorities say this is his third DUI offense. He's also charged with driving while suspended for the second time. Other charges: transportation of liquor in an open container and no proof of vehicle insurance. He's accused in a crash that injured PSU softball player Kendall Forbes in Bourbon County, Kansas, Sunday night. In a social media post, her mother says Kendall is hospitalized in Kansas City and her condition has been improving. A news release from PSU Athletics Director Jim Johnson says, quote, "The thoughts and prayers of Gorilla Softball and all of our Gorilla Nation remain with Kendall and her family during this time. There has been a tremendous outpouring of love and support for Kendall, and we encourage that to continue as we strive for healing and her full recovery." Wrestling legend Hulk Hogan died today at 71 years old. Medics were dispatched to the WWE legend's Clearwater, Florida home early this morning, with operators stating it was regarding a cardiac arrest. Amid the push for more information to be released about the Jeffrey Epstein files, a new report claims the Justice Department told President Trump his name is among many in the documents. It comes as a House committee has voted to subpoena the files related to the investigation. Natalie Brand has more.
The fallout over the Trump administration's handling of documents related to convicted sex offender Jeffrey Epstein is growing, with the Wall Street Journal reporting officials told President Trump in May that his name appeared in the Epstein files multiple times among many other high-profile names. The Journal notes being mentioned in the records is not a sign of wrongdoing. But the report contradicts what the president said last week when asked what his attorney general told him.
Specifically, did she tell you at all that your name appeared in the file?
No, she's given us just a very quick briefing, and in terms of the credibility of the different things that they've seen.
The White House called the Wall Street Journal report a continuation of fake news, adding that Trump kicked Epstein out of his Mar-a-Lago club for being a creep. Some Republicans on Capitol Hill also downplayed the development.
It's not new news. Like that they knew each other. They were both New Yorkers, involved in the same charities and other events.
But there's a bipartisan push for more transparency. The House Oversight Committee voted Wednesday night to subpoena the Justice Department for the Epstein files, with 3 Republicans joining Democrats in support. President Trump this week urged members of his party to change the topic.
Every time they give you a question that's not appropriate, just say, oh, by the way, Obama cheated on the election.
The White House invited Director of National Intelligence Tulsi Gabbard to brief reporters on what she alleges was a manipulation of intelligence by the Obama administration related to Russia and interference in the 2016 election in order to undermine the first Trump presidency. But a series of reviews, including bipartisan ones, concluded that Russia meddled in 2016 but did not alter the vote count. Natalie Brand, CBS News, the White House.
Well, on Wednesday, a federal judge in South Florida rejected the DOJ's request to unseal grand jury testimony from the first federal case that made Epstein a registered sex offender. But there's no ruling yet on a separate attempt to release testimony from the second federal Epstein case in New York. Well, coming up, high beef prices, low cattle supply, and one local farmer trying to keep it all going. And later, we're making steakhouse salad in the Mr. Food Guest Kitchen. Well, it's a tropical paradise at the 132nd Allen County Fair, and the Baby Barnyard is one of the main attractions. First established in 1978 inside a barn built in the 1930s, the exhibit features moms and their babies, including goats, a kangaroo, mini zebras, and more.
To interact the community with animals. So many of the little kids and the elderly, I think, get the most enjoyment out of the baby barn because they're things that you don't normally see.
The fair wraps up on Sunday, and beef prices have continued to increase in the recent months. This is due to a decreased supply of cattle and an increase of demand, according to the Southwest Missouri Weekly Summary release by the Missouri Department of Agriculture. Steers sold at a higher price than compared to last week.
So if you want to buy a 500-pound calf at $4, that's a $2,000 calf. Well, 3 or 4 years ago, you could buy that same calf for about $600. It's a big difference.
Now, some in the industry believe increasing supply could bring down the price of beef in the future. And the Carthage R9 Board of Education has announced an expansion to its district. 25 acres of land located east in its close proximity of the high school campus will be used as space for the high school's agriculture program. Potential plans include putting in a gravel parking lot, perimeter fencing, crops, essential farming equipment, and equipment shed. Now, while the school district has no immediate plans for any full-scale development on the land, the district is grateful for the expansion.
The priorities for our school board is not necessarily expansion, but when an opportunity comes along to better the school district, we're obviously going to look into it. So it's an incredible opportunity for our students. They'll be able to just walk outside of their classroom and have access to the grounds where we can keep all of this.
The land was sold below market value for $400,000 thanks to the help of Bill and Laura Phelps, who are big supporters of the Carthage School District. And still to come on KOAM News at noon, Mr. Food.
Are you not eating enough greens but not willing to give up your love of steak? No worries. We have a solution and we're willing to stake our reputation on it.
Thunderstorm chances return this evening. I'll have those details right after this. Well, so far today we've had a few showers in southeastern Kansas and temperatures on the rise. Let's go ahead and take a look out in Pittsburgh. Right now we've got mostly clear skies, though a few clouds still out there today. Now all of that is going to taper off. You can see 7th and Rangeland. Just a gorgeous day so far today. Now we're getting into the later afternoon hours and the heat really is going to be the main feature for this afternoon. We've got heat advisories still in effect. Missouri, Arkansas, Oklahoma, all the way until this evening before they expire, and then as well as a few counties along our Kansas border on the Kansas side on the Missouri border. Now, those again expire later on tonight because we've got a cooler day on Friday. Now that's thanks to a few showers that are going to be moving through the area for the rest of the afternoon. Not looking at a severe threat, but we could get some heavy rainfall, lightning, and maybe even some winds gusting 50, 55 miles per hour in some of those storms. Now, we are seeing temperatures warming up to the mid-90s, about 95 degrees, with a heat index value up to about 104. So it is still going to be a pretty hot day today. And then we'll have those isolated afternoon storms. Now, as those storms try and move in, the humidity is going to rise. So it's going to feel really muggy outside, really humid. And that's just going to make it feel even worse. So what it's going to feel like, this is the temperature, will feel to your skin, about 101 in Joplin, 101 in Girard, 103 in Parsons, Welsh, Miami, 100 out in Anderson, 99 in Lockwood. Not too bad. We've seen worse. We've definitely seen higher temperatures, but luckily it's also going to give us a little bit of a break as we head into Friday because we have this front pushing in. So you see where the colder air mass is in those northern counties versus our central and southern counties later on this evening. And that's just going to continue to drive in. So our heat index for Friday only getting up to the upper 90s and about 100. The highest we'll see is 100 Fort Scott, Baxter Springs, Miami, Grove, Veneta, Nowata, but the rest of us upper 90s with the actual temperature that is going to be about 95 again. So for the next couple of days, I mean, we're staying below 105 heat index. So heat related illnesses are still possible, though not as likely. You could see heat stroke or anything like that. Definitely always good to stay hydrated, but thankfully, again, Friday, a little bit of a cooler day. I mean, not too cool, but still a little bit because of our thunderstorm chances. Now, we've got an isolated threat in our northwestern counties. That's going to start to move in as we get later into the afternoon. Could see a couple of showers there, but mainly sunny skies. You can see where it's a little bit of a green dot here and there out in Oklahoma. This is going to be earlier in the afternoon, but later in the afternoon, these storms really fire back up. We could even see a bit of a gust front there. That's where we could see that wind threat, 50, 55 miles per hour, and some heavier rainfall as this pushes in. And they're mostly going to stay to the north of us, but they could still get into southeastern Kansas as they push through the area. So this is Thursday evening. As we get a little bit further into Friday, still met with a couple of these isolated showers through Friday morning. Now, that's going to keep us cooler with our heat index for Friday, but high temperatures and high heat index does return for the weekend as well as the sunny skies.
All right, Lindsay, thanks. We'll stick around. We're making steakhouse salad in the Mr. Food Test Kitchen. We'll be right back. Well, when it comes to choosing healthier meal options and indulging in something delicious, there's always a happy middle. And today's Mr. Food recipe is that perfect balance. Today, Howard is making steakhouse salad in the Mr. Food test kitchen.
I don't know about you, but for me, no matter how many mixed greens and veggies are in a salad, it's probably not going to satisfy me for dinner. So as a way to eat better without sacrificing any of the taste, we came up with a steakhouse salad that's both veggie and meat lover approved. We start by seasoning a lean strip steak with steak seasoning. We want to be generous with the seasoning since we'll be slicing the steak thinly after it's cooked. This will ensure that every bite has lots of flavor. Now, we cook this either on a grill pan or outside on your grill. You know what? You can even do it in your air fryer. While that cooks, we arrange some mixed greens on a platter, cut a beefsteak tomato into chunks, slice up a red onion, and crumble on some blue cheese. Once the steak is cooked just the way you like it, let it rest before slicing it across the grain. Now, this salad may look simple, but I promise it's nothing short of sensational. Drizzle on some homemade or bottled vinaigrette and dig in. I think this might be my new go-to summertime favorite. To get the recipe for our steakhouse salad, all you have to do is visit our website. I'm Howard with Kelly in the Mr. Food Test Kitchen, where today we found a beefy salad loving way for you to say, ooh, it's so good.
You can find this recipe along with a lot more good food from the Mr. Food Test Kitchen online. Just go to our website. That's KOAMnewsnow.com. Now here's a look at the 4-state market prices.
Well, temperatures reaching mid-90s, heat index low hundreds, up to about 104. We do have some showers moving in later on this afternoon and evening. That's going to bring our temperatures down just a bit on Friday, with a heat index only getting into the upper 90s for Friday. Now the high temperatures and high heat index returns for the weekend.
All right, and down with Air Force later on today.
Well, lots coming up at 5. For starters, a new study says you might not need 10,000 steps a day to stay healthy. We're going to take a look at how much movement is still needed to make a difference. Plus, Eagle Pitcher breaks ground on a new tech facility in Pittsburgh, what it could mean for jobs and the local economy in general. And Neosho schools get $1 million grant to support reading programs. $1 million. You join us for those stories, a lot more, of course. It's coming up on KOAM News at 5.
All right, Dal, thanks. And that's the news for now. Thank you for joining us. Have a great rest of your day.